if you have to ask or say anything, you're there.
I would like to say that the questions were really great.
Really?
It like pulled stuff out of me that it's just a pleasure just to think about the stuff that you ask about.
Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so okay. Religious or non-religious?
Non-religious. The stress heart rate signal is frequent and relaxation is slow.
Slow.
So the heart rate would change before they saw the picture. So they'll be sitting there, blank screen, heart rate goes up, and then they see the dog.
Simple or stylish?
Simple.
She's 4 years old. And yesterday, me and my wife, we were going out. She said, "Don't go. Don't leave me." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because you'll start loving each other."
Oh my
So
god.
basically,
Sometimes
like
when
if you ask me, I say, "No, I don't get jealous."
I don't get jealous about
because for me, it's me versus me all the time.
Yeah.
What about you?
The best cure for anxiety is action.
Yes.
You can
yes.
because when you're only anxious in anticipation of something. When
Yeah.
you're already in that thing, it's no anxiety
It's over.
anymore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. If someone asks me, okay, Zach, I would like to invite you for a dinner, and it has to be it's a buffet, and then it has to be this, and their guests are coming. You have to come on Saturday at 4 p.m. I get stressed. I said, no, please don't invite me. I actually would rather love. Okay, my next question is like it's connecting to the previous one, but I'll just ask that. What keeps you motivated to leave the bed every morning?
I can't wait to see what's gonna happen.
Okay, so basically, your motivation is the next episode coming up in your life. So that is your motivation.
Yeah.
A next challenge,
Now
a next situation.
Yeah. Now that you call it an episode, I would compare my feeling in the morning to when you're on Netflix and there's this like next episode is loading and you're like, come. So that's how I feel when I get up.
That's your motivation.
It's like, let's see what's gonna happen in this episode.
Wow. Guys, this was Kristina. I hope you liked our confab. I know it was a bit long. I will try to put the bits and pieces, the most exciting ones in the start, so you can just try to see. Or we are trying to get all these celebrities in disguise, like Kristina and other people who are basically trying to get the best, trying to do the best for the humanity, society, and themselves. And if they're alone, they are not alone, because they try to get their way out, they try to find, and then they're positive and optimistic, and they're struggling and trying every single day. I hope this message finds you well, and I hope you share the happiness. Peace. Bye-bye. Now we're on the rolling. Perfect. You're not camera conscious, right? You have to be very chill. Just imagine there's no camera.
Okay.
No one is recording you. No one is there. It's not actually. In Quran, Allah also mentions that
In Quran.
In Quran, Allah says that you want something which you think is good for you, but I don't give it to you because I know it's not good for you. And there's something which I give it to you, and you think it's not good for you, but actually it's good for you.
Could be, yeah. And you can never tell in advance. You can only look back and see was it good or not.
Good or not, yeah. Shall we start? Oh, perfect. Hi guys, I'm your host Zach Hashmi. This is your channel YOYO by Zach. This is our, I think, another exciting confab for all those girls who are single and they think they can't do it on their own, which basically our guest today, Kristina, we'll try to learn from her, and we'll try to see about her life, how she started and what she's doing right now, and try to give you some insight about it. Hope you like it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do that. Subscribe, like, and share. So, hi, Kristina, how are you?
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for coming. I mean, it's an honor.
Likewise.
Seriously, great. So, a little about the confab is basically it's not a formal interview, and we are just trying to know more about you. And if you would like to know anything about me, of course, you can always ask. We will have 3 rundowns. Chapter 1 is your life intro, a little about you. Then we have about Kristina, especially what you like, what you don't, your strengths, weaknesses. And the last one is my most favorite, is basically what you prefer and why. Because this is something, it's kind of a conclusive thing about your personality or life. And other girls around, they can actually listen to it and can relate in one way or another, that if Kristina can do it, why can't they? So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Perfect. So, Kristina, tell us about your life. I mean, where were you born?
I was born in Ukraine in 1991, which was the last year of Soviet Union. So I was born to parents who were, one of them, my mom is an academic, she's a chemist,
Okay.
and my father is a musician, which both were considered kind of a intelligentsia class in the Soviet Union, and that was not a good thing. It was
Okay.
because Soviet Union was all about the workers and the proletariat.
Okay.
So my father hated the regime from the very beginning, and he always wanted to leave. And when we were born, he promised to God that he's going to take his kids away from there because they're not going to live in the same nonsense.
Okay.
So when I was 3.5, we moved to the Czech Republic. It's a small town between Germany and Czechia. We lived on the border there.
Okay.
So that's where I spent most of my life so far.
And your mother and father are from the same?
Yeah, my father is from a different. My mother is from Odessa. My dad is from a small town, Mogilov-Podolsky.
Okay.
But
And they're
they met-
both Ukrainians?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And they
perfect.
met in Odessa when my father was doing his education
Okay.
as a musician, and then they got married and had me, and then we moved, and then had my brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was growing up in the small town, which was better than Soviet Union, but the mentality was a little bit small-minded, I would say.
Okay.
My father used to call the people who live there sausage people because all they do is watch football and eat sausages. No, but it was difficult mostly because in a small town, people are not very accepting of newcomers or foreigners. So
And you were foreigners?
yes, and we had weird names, and my parents had an accent, so it was a little bit difficult. And I was looking forward to leave. And when I was 17, I started writing as a copywriter, and I made enough money that I could leave and pay for my existence
And
somewhere
your
else.
parents were there still when you left, or you took them with you?
No, they are still there. I moved to Prague, which is also in Czechia, but it's a big town, and that was the first time that I really felt like this is my life now. Like
this is the place.
yeah, because
okay.
people are very open-minded there, and I could be myself without being punished for it. So that was really good.
Oh, okay. And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one brother. He had a similar problem.
He's elder to you or younger to you?
He's 3 years younger.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So you're like almost of same age group.
Yeah, you can say that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes, we have definitely very same worldview, and we're like on the same level in terms of maturity, I think.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
because he also left house early, and he became independent early. So I think we, even though we haven't like lived in the same place, we every time we speak, we're completely on the same page. So I think the foundation is very much the same for us.
That's
Yeah.
nice. And what is your education?
Oh, okay, I have two. I had basically two professional careers. When I lived in Prague, I went from copywriting to account management because I could both write and I'm organized. So I was managing the account. And then I progressed to a project manager. And then and that was at the time when the booming, it was at the time where the digital marketing started booming. So I was doing a lot of software development of apps and websites.
Really?
Yeah, because I really like working with programmers. I can't program for if it saved my life, but I really get along with them. I think there's something very pure about people who work with numbers.
Wow. So you did accounting?
No, it was not accounting. It was project management, software development mostly.
And software development, you were the coding side or on the creative side?
On the project management side. So I was the person who would talk to the clients, to the creatives, and to the programmers. And it was nice for me because I get along with all these groups, even though they're very different.
Try to bridge them together.
Yes, and then like make sure that everything happens on time and everything is in place, and like finding synergism between different projects. But I decided to leave that after 5 years because all the projects that I did were in marketing, and my clients were Heineken and L'Oreal, and I realized that I really didn't care if they sell more beer or makeup. In fact, I would prefer if they didn't, for the sake of the well-being of humanity. So, and then I just completely I couldn't do it anymore, and like my motivation was like to leave and do something much more meaningful. Okay. So I quit, and also I worked a lot. Like it was very stressful, and I had no free time, which on the other hand was good because I saved enough money that I could move and not work for a while, just to take the mental space to figure out. So I went to Berlin.
Okay.
I lived there for a year, which was like
So Ukraine, then Prague, and then Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Denmark.
Wow.
And
so
then-
there are four zones of your life, like four areas where you live,
you
four
can-
cultures basically,
Yeah,
which you
yeah, very
observe.
much so. Funnily enough, also I speak all these languages, and you can, when I speak a different language, I feel my personality shifts a little bit. Like when I speak Russian, I feel very.
So how many
slut.
languages do you speak?
5.
Can you tell me which ones?
It's a Czech, Russian,
Czech,
Russian, German,
German,
English,
English.
and Danish.
You speak Danish too?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've been here for 8 years, so you pick it up along the way, but it takes a while.
Oh my God.
But it helps that I speak German because they're not that far away from each other.
My God, that's awesome. I speak 3 languages. One is Punjabi. Do you know Punjabi? Then Urdu, which is our mother language, and then English. I have been here also for about 6 years now, but I couldn't. Even my kids tell me to start learning Danish, but I only know tak and tusen tak.
The thing is, I lived in Aarhus first, and in
Ah.
Jutland, people are not that happy to speak English. So I had
Yes,
to.
they are
I
not.
had to. In Copenhagen, if I lived here from the beginning,
Then
I would never learn because
Yeah.
because I don't have to.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everyone speaks very good English.
Yeah, very much.
And
so.
people like you speaking English, people in your place speak similar way English, or the accent is similar.
Where in Ukraine?
In Ukraine,
No,
for
they don't
instance.
speak English at all.
Ah.
There's no, because everybody was, in the Soviet Union, English was like the enemy. It was
Of
the language
course.
of the enemy, so it was never taught. Then after the revolution and the regime shift, people started learning English, but it's very much in the beginning. So young people kind of, old people not at all, like
Not at all.
0.
And like from Prague, when you were in these brands selling, right? And then you left there and you went to.
I went to Berlin.
And Berlin was software development. And
It was I didn't work. I took a sabbatical to just let go of everything that was all the clutter, all the stress from from the project management and so on. So I decided I'm just gonna go there, completely
And
new
just
environment,
relax.
and just see what happens. And I just went out in the morning, but had no plan. I would just step out and like, I wonder what happens today. And I met people, and in Berlin, people are very easy to talk to. Like you can say you have nice shoes to somebody on the intersection, and then spend the rest of the afternoon with them, just
Wow.
exchanging ideas.
So they're very, very, very friendly, easygoing people.
Yeah, and so it's not even personal. They don't ask you, oh, where can we meet next? Who are you? It's just pure ideas, just like
Wow.
developing concepts and
Brainstorming.
Yeah, pretty much, exactly. And
Wow.
sometimes it's not really about you or the other person. It's just about the idea, which I think is the best kind of conversation.
It is the best kind of. I have heard a saying. I don't know. It's a universal quote or not. That if excellent people or above average people, they discuss ideas. The average ones they discuss events, and the below average discuss people.
Yeah.
There's something like that.
Yeah. It's about minds. Like the highest minds discuss ideas, events, people. Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so and what is your current professional career?
Yeah, the current professional career started after I left Berlin, and in Berlin I realized that whatever I do, it needs to be something that is necessary, that I can respect myself for, because I didn't really have that sense when I was working for big brands.
Okay.
So I thought about, I had like a big spreadsheet, and there was everything I like, everything I don't like, what I'm good at, what I'm bad at, and what I definitely want in my profession, and what I definitely don't. And then I sort of crystallized from it like a bit of little path, like a profile of like an abstract job that I would like to have one day. And then I Googled all the study programs in Europe that were in English, and I sort of matched it to that. And I found a few, and they were mostly either in water treatment stuff, so environmental science, or agriculture, because food production is the most necessary thing there is. So I decided to follow something that will be this necessary.
So now you're a biochemist?
Yes, now I'm a biochemist. I started with agriculture. So the program that I chose was in Aarhus. So I moved to Aarhus, never been to Denmark before, just with just a couple of bags, and
But why Denmark? Like
it's because there was a program that fit my requirements.
oh, so in Europe, you started looking at the program which fits your profile after
Yeah.
looking at your
Exactly.
spreadsheet, and then it was Denmark.
Yes, it was. There were a couple. One was in Copenhagen, one in Aarhus, and one in Amsterdam. And the one that was in Aarhus was like the closest fit, so I just followed that.
So your shift from, I would say, Ukraine to Denmark has nothing to do with the Ukraine refugees, has nothing to do with the Ukraine war.
No.
Because you left Ukraine very early.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, now I'm sort of again in contact with Ukraine because there's a lot of Ukrainian who are fleeing the war, which is also what I spend a lot of my free time on is volunteering for them.
Oh, that's great.
It is. It's also sad sometimes because you hear stories.
But it's great that you at least try to give something back to your people.
And it just is very, very fulfilling. Also now that
you feel there's a different kind of peace.
Yeah, it's not, you don't do it for any kind of reward. You just do it because it needs to be done.
You know, my personal intention after 16, 17 years of my professional career is that now I'm moving to another part of the world, and the reason is that now I have decided now I want to grow. I have been growing for myself and my kids and my family for a long time, and now I feel it's not enough. It's time to give something back. So now I feel that now whatever growth I would get in future from here onwards would be to grow for others. So now my motto of life is to grow for others, and I'm surprised and happy to see that your motto of life to grow for others, it actually start quite early.
It's for me. It's both in my professional career is the main source of motivation. But then it kind of took a turn. Like I wanted to study something necessary, which was food, which was agriculture. But then I was just so entertained by science that I went to like less agro and more biotech. So then like in my masters, which I took in Copenhagen, I chose all the classes that were more into the biotechnology, chemistry, biochemistry direction because it was just so interesting to me.
And that was in English?
Yes,
okay,
all of it.
All of it in
All
English.
of it, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That is great. So let's move about to our second part, which is about you. So you know, it's not nice to ask a guy how much he earns, and it's not nice to ask a girl how old is she.
She's 30.
You know, but I would not mind to know how old are you?
I'm 33 biologically.
But you don't look 33.
I think it has a lot to do with my mental state. I looked worse in my 20s than
when I'm saying you don't look 33 means you look quite younger.
I looked older in my 20s because
Okay.
I was in this constant stress and just like constantly like trying to figure out why am I so stressed. So it was like this horrible loop and it was just all over the place. And now after I have left that and I figured out that I want to do something that is meaningful, it's just clear. I don't need to think about it. It's clear, I figured it out and now I'm just doing it. So now I have all this space just to live life and be happy.
And that is basically coming out.
Yeah,
as
I think
a glow.
so.
Perfect.
I think so.
What is your diet, Kristina?
I have a really specific diet. Not many people eat this way. It's also not very popular because of the environmental vegan campaign of these days. I'm a carnivore. I only eat animal products, and I eat within a short time window from usually 3 hours a day. So it's intermittent fasting, 3 hours of eating, a lot of fat, a lot of animal fat, a lot of eggs, a lot of cheese, and then I'm drooling just thinking about it. And then I don't eat again. So yeah, I try all the diets because I was trying to like find the one that was.
And this one fits fine for you.
Yeah.
And I think we were talking about earlier. It helped in your insomnia, like your sleeping habits also.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did sleep badly for most of my life, partially because of the stress, but also because of the wrong diet. And then when I tried to fix my sleep, I decided to I googled everything there is, and I did all of it, like all the supplements, sleeping mask, the heavy duvet, I'm having a cold room, regularity of the sleeping hours, limiting caffeine, specific amount of hours before sleep. Also, not eating before sleep helps a lot. But it was still not enough. And then I finally gave up plants, and it just like, And it's not just sleep; it's also energy levels and my like calmness. I'm much calmer when I don't eat plants. I don't say that this is going to work for everybody, but
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
according to my genes, I'm from north of Europe, and there was not many plants around. And the thing is, if you're from an area where there have always been plants, like South America or your area, you have developed, like you have evolved means of detoxifying the plants. So you have enzymes that are determined by your genes that that can get rid of the stuff in the plants that you shouldn't be having in your body. But I can't do that. So I can, yeah, it
So
hits me
you're
a lot.
basically having a high protein diet,
High fat, high protein. Yeah.
and that's what that and you eat once at one or
Between, yeah,
twice or try maximum 3 times.
it's not so much about how many times, it's about the time window. So within the 3 hours, I start at, let's say, at 4, and then if it's enough, I just eat that one, and if I'm hungry again within 3 hours, I eat more, and then I stop at 7, and that's it.
So you don't do that the carb calculation. Oh, sorry,
I
the
don't
calorie
eat,
calculation. Sorry,
no,
the calorie
no,
calculation.
no. I think I eat a lot of calories because I eat like fat is very high. It's almost like equal parts.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So I would like to know about your hobbies and sports, if you play any or you have any hobbies.
Yeah, I danced my whole life because you know
You dance.
yeah.
And which dance category you
I
dance?
started with ballet as a kid. It's very common for Eastern European children, women, girls to dance ballet.
Ballet, is it a Spanish dance?
No, ballet is the one with the white skirts.
Ah,
with the,
okay. Okay, that okay, that
yes,
thing.
that
Okay,
one.
okay.
So my father brought me into that because he had a lot of friends who were ballet dancers and musicians, and yeah, and now I still dance ballet, but now I dance a contemporary version, so it's more modern, it's more jumpy.
Ah, okay. It's like more poppy,
No,
hip
no,
hop,
it's no. It's not. It's still. It's a lot of it is to classical music or to piano music.
like a salsa sort of thing.
No, no, it's like ballet, but more like more ripped.
Okay,
So there's a
fine,
lot of like quick movements and jumps and.
like that.
Mhm.
So dancing is your hobby, and do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, I like to skateboard.
Really?
Yeah, I think it comes in hand with dancing because if you dance a lot, you develop a good sense of balance, and that's what you need to skateboard.
So basically, it complements both of your hobbies.
I think
Complement
so.
each.
Yeah, it's also really. I think I love dancing and skateboarding because those are the only times where I cannot think about anything else. You just have to be completely present, and all that exists is just the movement.
Hmm.
I like that.
What is your favorite food, Christina?
Lamb, the fat parts.
Okay.
Just
And which part of the lamb? Like the neck, the legs, which arms?
I
What?
think ribs are, or I don't. They're not called ribs. Rack of lamb, which is that
Okay.
has a lot of fat on it. But you can also get like fatty parts if the lamb is older because they accumulate more fat. If it's very young, they are very
Oh.
lean. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Wow. And you cook also, of course.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's nice.
I also like during my studies in Denmark, you are supposed to have a student job, which is in Denmark you get partially funded by the state, but to get that stipendium, you have to work some hours every week.
Okay.
So what I did, I worked as a chef for like part time
So
for
basically, you
5 years.
that is, and you were cooking when you were a chef. You were cooking all these lamb things.
Also, I worked in a steakhouse. That was
Ah.
very good with lobsters and so on. So we had like
Nice.
mainly it was beef, but then it was also lobsters and chicken and lamb.
So basically, I see you as a project manager, as a software developer, as a sales manager, product development, then basically a chef and a biochemist.
Yeah,
So
and
you have
and a dancer also.
and a dancer. Wow, you have different colors and flavors in your
I
personality.
don't want to be one thing. I don't think it's healthy
Yeah,
to be one
yeah.
thing. And you
No,
know,
you
some
don't.
there are different times of the year when they're right for one thing. Like I think autumn is very good for learning, for studying, and then the dancing mostly happens in the winter because you have to be inside. So I go
Mm,
dance inside. But then in the summer, I skate and I want to get all the sun I can to survive the next winter.
yeah.
So it makes sense to shift from one time to another. And it's also the different parts of the day that are good for different things. Like I wouldn't spend my morning cooking. Like in the morning, you know, I get out, I do my biochemistry, and then I come home, and that's when the cooking starts.
And in all this time, you left home early, and then you're all the way, like, for example, looking back from 17, you left,
Mhm.
and now you're 33. So
Mhm.
you have actually spent a lot of years alone, on your own.
Yeah.
And in all this times, you never look back or thought to go back to your parents, or just to, or anything, just had any fear in you, or maybe something was, because what I'm looking at you right now, and what I'm listening right now is Kristina as a person is a person who is, please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm just telling you my opinion. That you're living every single day as one life,
You
and
can say
you're
that.
actually trying to get the best out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't always work. There are, of course, some days when I'm just too tired or hungover, and those are just write-ups. But I feel like it has to be that way. You have to also have these like nothing days where just everything sort of settles down, and then you relax and you get the energy to do the next stuff. But to answer your question, I never wanted to go back. My parents asked me like, "Do you ever think you will come in with that?" It's, no.
And you think or a lot about past or a lot about future, or you try to live in the present as a person?
I don't really try to live in the present. I just do.
You
Like,
live in the present.
yeah, of course I remember stuff that happened in the past, but to me it's just not relevant anymore. Like, it was there, I worked with it when it was there, and now it's not. It's not around anymore, so it doesn't make sense. And the future is also not around yet.
So there's
So
no point planning a lot.
you can have intentions and goals,
Predictions, goals, vision.
but there's something about thinking about it. I think this is like a natural inclination of all humans. When you start thinking about the future, you tend to think about what might go wrong instead of, yeah, but I try to, of course I do that
And
as
then
well.
there's a stress, a fear comes
It's
up.
like, oh, what if it doesn't happen? So I don't want to,
What
and I
will
don't want
do?
to have this way. Like, I know what I have, like what skills I have and what qualities I have, and I kind of have an idea of how I could apply them. But I don't want to say in the next year I need to do this and this and this and that, and then worry what if it doesn't happen. So it's yeah, but also I've been really lucky in life. You know, if I was a person who would like be beaten by life, I would probably have different attitudes. But somehow, I'm just open to what came, and for some reason, what always came turned out to be good.
No, that's great. And you, because I feel also that you're a positive person
Yeah,
by heart.
that's thanks to my parents.
Yeah, but like you're actually, whenever a situation comes in a day or something comes, you just try to see what's the good part in it.
I don't try to see that.
You see,
I
actually.
just do that. Sometimes it's like I get burned, like when I meet a person and I think, oh, this is amazing, and I'm very optimistic, and then it just fizzles out. That can happen, but I would rather be optimistic and then get burned than be pessimistic and not experience anything.
Exactly. Yes. Actually, when any situation comes, so guys, this is something which I would like to highlight about our discussion, that everyone is heading all sort of struggles and challenges in his or her life. And then if you are meeting a situation or a person or an event or an idea, and you try to think negative about it, and then try not to experience it, another best way is to actually think positive about it, experience it. And if you fall back, you fall back and you move on. If and sometimes you don't fall back and things work out, right,
Yeah.
Kristina?
And if you do fall, you just learn from it. You know what not to do next time, and
So every mistake is basically an asset if you're learning from it.
it gives you additional information. I used to feel like, of course, I've been in situations where I felt a lot of pain, and I feel like pain is a very, very good teacher. It tells you exactly what not to do.
Yes, it makes you stronger and a better person.
So you just take the information, don't avoid the pain, take it in, acknowledge what it tells you, and then use it in the next step. That's all.
And that's how you actually get better and better and better.
Yeah, and also how you not do the same mistake over and over again.
Again, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh my God, that's great. So, your favorite color, Kristina?
Green.
Like green, the parrot green, or the green, the light green, or
All
green?
of them.
All green shades.
Yeah. Also, they always go together. It doesn't matter like how different they are. They always go together. Like a lot of things in my bedroom are green, like the carpet, a lot of plants, of course, and all the like items like.
And your biochemistry is basically of all plants. It's all green.
I think it's that's one of the reasons. But I just feel good in green. I think it's also because I feel good in nature, and this is the closest you can get to it if you're indoors.
And I think green. I don't know any logical science about it, but it feels colder to your eyes when you see green stuff, greenery. You feel calm and good.
Yeah,
I
think it's because we are programmed to be in nature, so it is the healthy thing for us to feel.
And we look around a lot of greenery.
So whatever you look at and it reminds you of nature, like color green, it will be pleasant and good for you. I think
Yeah,
that's my theory. I don't think I've ever felt as good indoors as I have felt good outdoors. So that's why I have this theory.
that's nice. Good to hear, Christina. Who inspires you in life? Who
My father a lot.
and why?
He's very good at seeing beauty in life, and he kind of I remember I have a lot of like small these micro memories when he would be like, look at there's like a drop that runs down the window, and he's like, isn't it beautiful? I'm like, yeah. And then we see like a little bird somewhere, and he would like stand.
So like an artist,
Yeah,
like he is.
he
His
is an
eyes are
artist.
like an artist.
He is an artist, and also
Yeah,
he's very good at. But it's not like details. It's not that he sees details. He sees beauty. It doesn't have to be a
I
small thing.
understand.
It
Yeah,
can also be a big pattern. Like look at how this cloud reminds you of this or that, and he's very playful with it. Sometimes like doesn't this like shape of the road reminds you of something bizarre, like I don't know, like a mushroom. It's like, oh yeah, it does. So it's like playful way of experiencing his surroundings.
And how old is your father now?
He's 58. No, sorry, 75.
Yeah, I was thinking, how 58?
No, 75.
Okay.
75. Yeah, he's amazing. He bikes everywhere. He takes,
Wow.
every weekend they have this tradition with his friends. They, not in the summer, but in the winter, they open them. There's like a frozen lake. They make a hole in the ice and they plunge into the cold water, and they
Wow.
do that every weekend in the
Wow.
winter, and then they drink tea together.
Wow. So he has a lot of life in you,
Yeah.
life in
Yeah,
him,
it's. I mean,
and that is transferred some way in you.
Yeah,
A lot of life.
my mom also tells me that I'm a lot like him. He's also very chaotic, and I think that's where my mom comes in because she's the chemist, so she's like balancing my father's chaos with her structure. So I'm very lucky to have both of these influences.
Both of the influences, yeah.
But
In
yeah,
the end.
when you reminded me that that there's a lot of life in him, he really does. Like he's more energetic than most like Danish 20-year-old even. When you look at them with like doing this all day and
The plunging into a cold water itself, it's a
but even if you just see him walking down the street going shopping or something, he's like this, he like can't
yeah,
wait for the next
yeah.
thing. Like he's like, oh,
Wow.
just bring it on, whatever comes, I want to experience it. And while like it makes me sad in comparison to my dad when I look at the teens, even kids in Denmark who are just like with their head down. They look like they're like coming from a shift in a coal mine. Like,
and I see a lot of black and gray color in Denmark also in clothes. They're not colorful. I have been to Portugal and other parts of the world, and I feel that there's a lot of color there. In Denmark, I feel there's a lot of and these colors, they impact your personality.
Oh, yeah.
It has an impact. These blacks and grays and dull colors and stuff. So yeah, there is. People say that Denmark is the happiest country in the world. I don't know.
I mean, first of all, most of them are medicated. Like,
yeah.
There's like only a few exceptions in my circles that are not medicated.
Yeah.
Most of them who are not are foreigners.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why, but I think maybe they're the happiest. Maybe the government is treating them well. Maybe that's the point.
I think they're also because this is a survey not measured by like any objective metric. It's not like they take their blood. It's like, oh yeah, this one is happy. No, they just say they're happy because it's very
cold. For the last 10 years, it's happening like that.
But it's not so. It's self-reported happiness.
Yeah.
And like in Denmark, it's a cultural norm to not ruin the coziness. Like don't ruin it. Just say it's fine. So this is the response when you ask somebody how they are. They don't think about it. They say fine.
Like that.
So if they say, "Are you happy?" Yeah.
Yeah.
In Ukraine, it's the opposite. If there's something that is negative, that's the first thing you hear. So it's like because that needs to be dealt with. Yeah. And I've like in my experience with the relationships in Denmark, that has been a big problem because it's like I can feel something is wrong, but he just wouldn't say what it is. Yeah. Because they're very.
And then you have to dive in and try to investigate and see what it is.
They're still like fending. It's
a barrier. I also felt that barrier. I mean, I'm a very social person. I'm very easy to like the way we met. It was just on the road.
Yes, that was fantastic.
It was fantastic, phenomenal experience. And I'm that kind of person. But I feel I felt that it was a barrier. It was very difficult to penetrate and merge with the society of Denmark. When I went to Portugal, it was easy. It was very easy, very friendly. People are, very here. I don't know. There is something.
There are also different like stratas of the population, also geographically distributed. Like if you go to Österbo, forget about it. Like nothing, no casual on the street conversation is going to happen. Nørrebro, which is the more culturally diverse part of
A
Copenhagen.
lot of Arabs are there.
Yeah. I love that spot,
Yeah.
especially Lugten Bazaar. Like I love going
It's
there.
very
so
warmth in it.
I
Yeah.
go there like every time I go there, I feel like I'm on a vacation.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
fantastic.
Indeed it is. Yes, I can feel the same.
And that day when we met, it was actually Easter, so
Yeah, Easter, yes.
supermarkets were closed, and I forgot about that. So I was like, "What place is going to be
LinkedIn
open?"
was open
I was like,
always.
of course, they're 24/7.
24/7. Yes.
It's like, okay, I'll go there. And apparently, a lot of people had the same situation, so it was super crowded. I came there, I was like, "This is like a daytime party." It was so nice.
Yes. So, what inspires you? You told me your father inspires you as a person, but
Mhm.
what inspires you?
I think it's science and knowledge.
Yeah.
There's just
That's inspiring.
every time I'm in a bad mood or if I'm sad or something bad happens, and then I remember there's so much that I can learn, and then like
So knowledge.
yeah,
That inspires you.
yes, it gives me the drive. It gives you know every no matter what it is, it can be geology or soil science or astronomy. It can be like very different things. Then some of them would seem boring on the first glance, but when if you go deep enough, everything becomes interesting. Just if a few layers below, and anything can be interesting. Like you can figure out how do they do plumbing in houses, or like how tires for cars are produced. And at some level, it's just like really that's so cool.
So if I say that if I put it this way, that there are two kind of people, to best to my knowledge, is one are materialists, people who are actually into material. When I say material, it means your power, your fame, your wealth.
Mhm.
And there are spiritualist people, the people who are actually into something which is, they're into everything which is not material in that sense.
Yes.
So if I categorize you, or if you would like to categorize or label yourself as a person, are you a materialist or a spiritualist?
I mean, I need material things like house and some clothes, but I don't feel they don't.
That's not your drive.
They don't bring me joy. Like, and I tried that, of course, in my 20s. I was like, I was buying stuff, and then it's like, oh, this feels good, and then it's like, the
It
next
fades
day,
away.
it's like, yeah, immediately.
Immediately fades away.
And it's this like self-reinforcing. It's basically like how addictions are formed. If you're doing something material, it's only you're gonna need more and more and more
Grade it
to
up.
feel the same amount of joy, and then it's just
To get the same dopamine, basically.
yeah. But it just now I know that because I tried it. It didn't work for me, so now I don't try to get it from that. I meditate a lot, so I don't know if I want to go spiritual because I don't like the word spirit because it sounds some sort of mystical, magical, whatever. I think it's very natural to have this approach to life to feel connection to different things and to go within yourself and see what is there. And that's definitely much more interesting for me than like buying stuff. And also,
No, it makes sense.
when you move around a lot, like I did,
I can feel that.
you're happy not to have stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And you feel more lighter.
Yes,
Yes.
and I understand, for example, people who buy, like in Denmark, very common, expensive designer furniture, and then like nobody's around to sit on it, or like if it scratches, it's like, oh my god, like we're gonna and like it can ruin their whole day.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I'm like, I never want to live this way. That must be so stressful.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, my next question is like, it's connecting to the previous one, but I'll just ask that. What keeps you motivated to leave the bed every morning?
I can't wait to see what's gonna happen.
Okay, so basically, your motivation is the next episode coming up in your life. So that is your motivation.
Yeah,
a next challenge,
now
a next situation.
Yeah. Now that you call it an episode, I would compare my feeling in the morning to when you're on Netflix and there's this like next episode is loading and you're like, come. So that's how I feel when I get up.
That's your motivation.
It's like, let's see what's gonna happen in this episode.
Wow. And that's why I think you are welcoming to all sort of situations at first. For example, if I'm coming to you with a proposal, okay, Kristina, okay, I know you're a biochemist, but I want you're pretty, and I want you to shoot for my brand. You say, okay, let's do it.
I wouldn't say okay to everything. I don't like. If I don't feel it, I will say no. But I felt it immediately. I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a Ukrainian biochemist living in Denmark, modeling Eastern dresses. That's beautifully bizarre.
Wow.
Yeah. So I just follow the energy. Like if I feel it, I say yes.
You say yes.
Yeah. Also, as you said, I do get approached by men fairly often, and I just if I don't feel it, I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna be polite about it. I'm just gonna be a no.
Yeah.
Same, yeah, same with
So it's
everything.
always very good to say no,
Mm.
and especially for the girls. You
If
know,
you
it's
don't
you
feel
have to
it,
learn to say no.
if you don't
We are
feel
not
it,
taught in
it's
our society to say no.
yeah. Everybody's taught to be
Always yes,
polite
yeah,
and pleasing, but if you already feel it and you don't say no, you are not doing anybody any favor. You will be already stressed by the fact that you're doing something you don't want to, and the person is just gonna find out later.
yes. So
So
It's better to learn to say no.
it's
Yeah.
not impolite. Like you don't need to
No,
be.
it's not.
It's not impolite to say no. You can do it in a perfectly like.
Nicely, you can politely wave.
You don't need to
Yeah.
be. You don't need to
Rude
be
about it. Yeah.
angry about it. It's just that's
Or
not for me.
upset about no,
That's
no.
fine.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know.
Not
And
my cup of
sometimes you do,
tea.
and you don't even have to explain yourself. Like sometimes men, like in the dating game, because that's I guess that's a most applicable area.
Yeah.
They like say, I ask why. What did I do wrong? It's like I don't know what it is. I just don't feel it. You
So
know,
it's
like
like
you don't need to know what it is. You just need to know is it for you or is it not
not
for
for
you.
you.
So
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's it. If it's for you, go with it. And
If it's not, so
if
it's
it
okay.
not, say no, it's not for me. That's it. You don't need to explain why. You don't need anybody any explanation or
You don't owe explanations to people. Yeah.
and you don't owe them your time. You don't owe them your energy. If
Yeah.
you don't want it, then it's you are giving them the energy that
You know, I was thinking about something came up to my mind. You know, they're like you are a person who is a humanitarian who would like to help people and try to do something for them. But sometimes I feel that, please correct me if I'm wrong, that for example, if I have a relationship with someone, my brother, sister, family member, wife, whatever, etc., or my friends who are expecting that I would come to help them, this is one kind. Another kind of people who are completely strangers, who I don't know and they don't know me, and we have no expectations with each other at all. And then I go anonymously, I go and try to help them. I don't want myself to know that I'm helping them. I don't want them to know that I'm helping them. I'm just doing it as a stranger. That sort of feel, that sort of passive gratitude which you
mm,
get when you try to selflessly help someone
mhm,
who is not expecting it,
yeah,
that is amazing. Like for
yeah,
example, floods, for example,
yeah,
earthquakes, for example, all these, and sometimes these wars, refugee camps,
yeah.
all these people who actually don't know you, who don't know
Hmm.
who's Zach, who's Christina, and
Look, the
and some
credits.
angels are coming and helping and trying to do something good.
It's I can relate to that in a situation that has been going on for the last 2 years because of the war in Ukraine. Uh, a woman called Anna. She started a help group on Facebook, just a Facebook group, and people were like allowed to go in there who are Ukrainian refugees and like ask about how do you deal with this in Denmark? Can somebody translate this letter from the commune for me? And then it became like a shared place where people could post jobs. Like now it's 400 people there, and then I came in because
That is a good
it
number.
was only Anna was doing all the help, and she was really exhausted, of course. So most of the time, I assist people with their medical, like when they go to a doctor and they have been, let's say, hit by missile or they have some chronic illness, they need to give the information to the doctor, but they don't speak English or Danish, and the doctors don't speak Russian. So, and they're supposed to get government provided interpreters, but they just don't arrive like many times. And the person's health is getting worse and worse,
Because
and it's
there's no
gonna
interpreter. Yeah.
and there will be like weeks before they can get the next appointment. So
Yeah, it's like
and so
that.
that's like I just posted my phone number and like I'm be available these days from this
Wow.
hour to this hour. And there's people who like they give me all of their documents, all of their personal
Trust,
information.
yeah,
Like I haven't seen most of them. Like
of
I've only
course.
saw like few of them in person when it was absolutely necessary. But most of them they just call me a bunch of times a day. And like now if
Blind trust, basically,
and
yeah.
it's like and they see that you took nothing for it and you just help them and you just say bye. If you need something else, call
That is
again.
priceless.
Yeah.
This happiness. I mean, still I'm talking about it, I'm having goosebumps. This chills over my body. This is priceless. I mean, this is actually a kind of, because people who we owe some favor, and they are relatives or friends or
Mm-hmm.
family, and there's expectations built up, and you're trying to fulfill and exerting to make them happy. This is one way of life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're not getting a clap in return or recognition in return, and then your expectation levels are high or low,
Mm.
and you're trying to get the relationships connected, and it's a struggle. I mean, with this, I'm getting stressed.
Mm.
I might get some benefit out of it in some other way around, but this particular activity is not helping. For me, if someone asks me, okay, Zach, I would like to invite you for a dinner, and it has to be it's a buffet, and then it has to be this, and there are guests are coming. You have to come on Saturday at 4 p.m. I get stressed. I said, no, please don't invite me. I actually would rather love to come,
Yeah.
knock if I would like to, if you are so generous, and if I would like to have a cup of tea or water, just because I just want to do that, that is happiness
It
to me.
feels better. Yeah.
But if you just make it an appointment and then you try to make me, no, this is not good for me, and this doesn't work for me.
Like, it's ideally it happens organically and spontaneously, but there are things you have to plan. You cannot just yeah. But I know what you mean. It's
Yeah,
also,
exactly.
because there's always like a build up. It's like, oh, but so this is expected. Is it gonna go well? Will I be satisfactory? Will I be satisfied? So
then you're actually exposed to a judgmental eyes,
and your own actually.
and your own self also. You're
Yeah.
actually judging yourself, and you're judging others, and then it gets complicated.
But you know what? But I notice sometimes then you come and you do it, and it all goes away. It's when it's already happening. You cannot be like, I heard this quote, I suppose, that says the best cure for anxiety is action.
Yes,
You can
yes,
because when you're only anxious in anticipation of something. When you're already in that thing, it's no anxiety
it's over.
anymore.
Yes,
Yeah, I like that.
exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. We're doing so good so far. So, you'd like to take any breaks, or I can continue?
Yeah, continue.
Perfect. So, I have a question, Christina, about you. The next one is, what is your strength? First, tell me your strengths, and then we'll talk about your weaknesses. What is your strength? That's my question.
I think my drive is my biggest strength, and also my sociality. I'm
Okay.
Yeah. I think
So
they
your
go.
drive, which you told is basically knowledge. The next episode, that's your drive, and you're social. You're a social person. You're easy to talk to.
Because I think the drive that I have is to make things happen that I find worthwhile. But it's almost impossible to make anything happen without other people. Or of
You
course,
need
I mean,
teamwork.
it's possible. But for example, when we decided to do different projects for the Ukrainian group, I mean, the best part was like I was so driven, and I talked about it, and people heard me, and there's like, I really want to help, and they would just completely get infected by my drive, and then they would like, oh, and I have this opportunity, you can have my space. I'm an artist. I would like to have like children's drawing courses.
Wow.
So it's the drive and the sociality that go together, and they sort of
Yeah, go together and becomes a collective force.
I could do it myself, of course, but it would not be nowhere as good as it's the same with science. You can do your own little research, and it's going to take you 100 years to get this many points. Or you can look at other people's research and collaborate and spread ideas and
And make
multiply
it
them.
fast and multiply them exponentially.
Exponentially, yeah.
Yes.
That's actually not multiply, amplify.
Amplify. It's amplify. Yes, it goes boom.
So 1 + 1 is more than 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
I say that 1 + 1 is 11.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, in some cases it can be that way when you just it's not additive. It's
going exponentially. Yes. What is your weakness, Christina?
I do have the tendency to sometimes get too excited and only see the perfect, like the not perfect, but like the goal, like the the desired outcome for, like, for example, the children's campus being full of kids and having, they're making friendships and creating a community and so on, that I might overlook some things in between. Like
the hurdles or the
no,
fall or the flaws,
the possible pitfalls, like
pitfalls.
the
Okay.
risk. Like, sure, I have that like vision, but like, I don't think of the possibility of like, okay, what if we have too many kids and not enough adults, and somebody will trip and fall and injure themselves, because it doesn't. I don't have that in my head. I only have the good stuff. So
I think that this is a weakness of most of the optimist people.
Yeah.
Or the idealists or the visionaries,
but
the dreamers.
But you can't. I mean, if you are thinking about the negatives, you're not gonna see the vision.
Yeah.
So, but by now I like learned by experience to like put mechanisms in place to like stop myself. So
to go to like you would like to visualize your dream and also the pitfalls. That's what you are trying
to be more cautious, but also to be open to the failure. Like, when you start, for example, dating for the first time, you really, really hope that it's going to be perfect, and then it's devastating for you if it doesn't work out. And by now, I've failed in the past. I'm still here. I'm still happy. So it's like, yeah, there's no problem that big that I shouldn't try again.
Actually, these failures, I actually think that you only fail if you stop attempting, stop struggling,
Oh, that's beautiful.
stop trying.
That's really, yeah.
I mean, that's the
That's
only
that's the only actual failure.
that's the only failure. So
Yeah.
don't stop, keep trying.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful quote which I heard was, it was like he lived, he died, but he tried.
Nice.
This thing, but he tried. That,
Nice.
or let's say, like, she lived, she died, but she tried.
Nice.
When you try something, it's basically, I mean, I tell my kids, I tell myself, I tell the people I meet that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I have this, I have that, blah, blah, blah. I said, bro, if you're trying, you are on point.
Yeah, that's a great worldview. I like that.
Yes. So
I feel the only failure if you stop trying is basically like you die before you actually die.
exactly. Okay. So it's just a good one. This is my favorite one. How much you rate your life out of 10?
10. It's life,
So you rate 10 out of 10.
I mean, 10 is being alive and 1 is being dead.
No, life in general, I would
Mhm.
say that when I say life, it means your family, your health, your vision, your partner, your ambition, your mission, your vision. In general, as what you have lived 33 years in this world, on this planet. If I have to ask you, Kristina, out of 10, how much will you give marks or rating to your life? What would you rate yourself?
Of course, there are different time periods for which I would have probably different opinions, but as a
But
whole,
today, now, as a whole, now,
I
yeah.
would say 9 because I'm
Wow.
very satisfied. But because I'm an optimist, I think it will be even better. So if I say 10, it means I'm done, and I'm not.
So that's 9. Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's keep this one for that growth, that episode, that excitement.
Yes.
So let it be. We will reach 10 when it comes, when we die, before our last breath.
Yeah.
And let's do that. Perfect. Amazing answer. Okay. Okay, so this is called express the unexpressed. So, for instance, this is your camera, and if you have to say anything to your parents or your siblings or your friends or your family or anyone you couldn't had the courage to say or wanted to say, and you think you will not because you will never met that guy or girl or parents, or you did something wrong to someone, or you have something to say to anyone, this is your moment. You can say that.
Phew, huh? This is pretty.
But you got my question, right?
Yeah. Give me a minute.
Yeah, take your time.
I mean, if it's 2 people who I will never be able to see again, it would be most likely something that I regret, and I wish that I treated them better when I haven't. So to everybody who I have hurt, when
So
I
you think you have hurt people?
Yeah.
Hurt like
not intentionally
no,
necessarily.
of course, unintentionally.
But I did. I mean, I wasn't. Now I'm in a pretty good place and I'm level-headed. But I went through some very turbulent development, and I definitely made some mistakes. Or even there were not mistakes. There's just something I did, and I maybe even didn't realize that I hurt that person. So if that did happen, I wish you well, and I wish I could do it over and do it better.
Okay, all those guys and girls who have been hurt by Kristina, so this is her time to say she didn't mean to do that, right?
Yes.
And it happened, and she's sorry for that.
There's even people who just heard like, and this is really unfortunate, I think, but especially among women, they can just hate you because they think you're better than them, and that's really ugly.
I think in men, this competition doesn't come in this jealousy.
No, it does not.
In girls, it do.
Yeah. But I feel like
they start comparing.
You have this like bro culture. It's like, yo, bro, you nailed it. I'm glad for you. Girls don't do that. No, nobody says that. Now it's getting better actually with the feminism progressing. It's better, but just a few years ago, it was just. Just she has this better diploma, or she's taller, and I'm like, Jesus,
or prettier, or whatever.
So I know that in my past, when I lived in Prague, I know that women hated me just because I was better at one thing or another. And I mean, I didn't mean to hurt them by that, but I probably did. But they probably did it to themselves, to be honest. But
yeah, it's something they can't control. My after 2 boys, I had this girl, and she's 4 years old. And yesterday, me and my wife, we were going out. She said, "Don't go, don't leave me." We said, "Why?" I said, "Because you'll start loving each other."
Oh my
So
god.
basically, now my daughter is not ready to share me
Uh-huh.
with her mother,
Uh-huh.
because she's also a girl,
Yeah.
and she's also a girl. So
Wow.
imagine, and I was talking to my wife and I was laughing and I'm saying, my sons never said that,
Mm.
and they were never so. But she categorically, I have a video when I asked her. She asked me that, Baba, do you love me? I said yes. Said, do you love Mama? I said yes. I said, no, this is not fair. I said, what do you mean? I said, see, I can love both of you, but you have to only love me. You cannot. And then when I'm trying to sleep with her in the night, she says, are you gonna sleep with Mama? You gonna sleep in the same bed? She is like, imagine, she treats me as some kind of, this is a girl, a girl 4 years old. What sort of? But I think in the girls it is built in, this
Yeah.
thing.
Interesting. And the both things, they don't do that. That's kind of. But I mean, there's also like, I think in general kids are very selfish, and they are not just not ready to share here because they need you that badly.
Yes.
But I think it goes away with age.
Yeah, of course, the time, of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
But wow, that's quite amazing. I wonder if I ever did that. I have.
Did you?
I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe I did, but I've never heard.
Okay.
anything
Do you
like
have jealousy in you?
No, I mean, if it's towards parents, then
No,
definitely
I'm saying like, for example, with your colleagues, with your professionals, with your
I do, okay.
friends, with your. Do you get jealous?
Sometimes.
Like, if you ask me, I say no. I don't get jealous.
I don't get jealous about.
Because for me, it's me versus me all the time.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, I have some ambitions in terms of research, and and those are again like me competing against me. But when I come across a scientist who did the thing that I want to be doing, I was like, I would like that.
Okay, so is that being you compete someone, that is something in a positive way, but there's something called envious, being envious about it.
Compete with them. Like, I'm glad we have the research that the person did. I just wish it was me. Who
So
did
that is a positive thing. I think that's not jealousy.
I hope so. I mean, it's just like this little pinch in the stomach. And it's like, sometimes
like I was late, or because you felt maybe I was late and I should do it earlier.
Oh,
that's what you think.
No, but it's. I mean, sometimes you feel like you're going somewhere, and then somebody figures it out before you do. So yeah, maybe it's something like that. Yeah.
And that's okay. Fine. That's
But
okay.
the only jealousy I ever feel is professional. Is about like, yeah, it's professional. I don't think it's healthy. I would be happy to give it up, but like, I'm glad that they did the research because we need it.
But you also want that why that should have been you.
Yeah.
So if someone gets a Nobel Prize tomorrow to be a biochemist or do some indoor planting, and he or she gets some innovation done to that breed or stuff or process, and then you would say or would think that why that wouldn't be me.
Look, I mean, I actually met a Nobel Prize winner. He was the last Nobel Prize for chemistry was awarded to Morten Meldal. He's Danish. He was my chemistry teacher.
Wow.
At the KU,
lucky.
And he is just so much better. There's no way I could even dream of comparing myself to me. It's just mind blowing.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Great. Okay, so now we are moving towards our chapter 3. That's my personal favorite. It's like what you prefer and why. So this is kind of you can say a rapid fire thing, a very fast thing. So you will tell me, I'll ask you something, you'll tell me why you prefer, what you prefer and why. So let's start, shall we? Perfect. Single or married?
Married. My parents gave me a great example and I want to follow in their steps.
Perfect. When you say married, I would like to ask you, you're a career-oriented person.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You're not?
It's a part of my life, but it's not my main part.
Main part. Okay, so if a husband comes in your life and he wants, you are giving 8 hours of your life to your work, 8 hours you sleep, and the remaining 8 hours you have your me time, let's say 4 hours. So if he wants 2 hours in his life for you, would you think, would that be fair, where he wants you to be your slave, for instance?
He wants to be.
Slave means like he wants you to be to do whatever him? Yeah, just to do whatever he wants you to do. Go with him, spend time with him, dinner with him, this and that, whatever.
I want that. I want that kind of
that's okay.
I want that kind of relationship where we want to, but I want this to want the same. Like, I want that with my husband. I want to I wouldn't you so it is definitely my plan when I have a family to not work for a very long time, which is possible in Denmark, because to me the family is much more important than work.
And then you'll have kids. They're
Yeah.
gonna take another 2 hours of
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that's
So it's
fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to give myself away to family more than to work.
Perfect. Friends or family?
Family. But none of my friends are family. I only have 2 friends, but we are like this. I don't consider. I feel about them the same I feel about my family.
Perfect. Business or job?
Job. Because in research, that's what you do. You don't, you don't know. You can also, of course, open a business, but in research, you usually participate in a academics
And
environment.
then you're paid for it,
Like,
basically.
yeah. Like, you cannot open. I mean, you could, but I would have to have an insane amount of capital to open my own lab and direct my own research.
Or for instance, for example, let's say if you're doing a research and that research gets you a PhD, and then you write a book and you try to sell that book and to a lot of people, and then you make money out of it
Yeah,
or
but
take a royalty out of
if
it.
you're writing the book for the money, it's probably not going to be good.
Okay, so that's not your thing.
No, because science is collaborative. Business can be individualistic. Science has to be collaborative.
It has to be. Okay. Pleasure or peace? Pleasure or peace?
Peace, definitely.
Definitely. And why?
Feels better.
Pleasure also feels good.
Yeah, but it goes up and down. Peace
Yeah,
is-
yes, it's steady.
So
Okay.
in pleasure, the higher you go, the lower you fall. With peace,
You're steady.
Yeah.
Yeah. Purpose. Oh no, sorry, I bet that. Wealth or health?
Health.
And why?
Because it feels better. Wealth, you don't really feel that.
Okay.
If you're healthy, you feel good. If you're wealthy
And not healthy.
and not healthy, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Purpose or need?
Purpose.
Okay. Passion or desperation?
Passion.
Okay. Love or lust?
Love.
Okay. Alone or accompanied?
If I'm with the right people, or if I have the right people in my life, which I have, I don't feel alone even in their absence. But even when I am in their company, I still feel like I have the space to be in my own head. It's like, they call it the together alone.
Yes, it's that thing.
That's the best
Wow,
thing.
that's the best thing. Yes. So basically, together alone, it's basically a blend of alone and accompanied.
Yeah, because it means that you can be. The nice thing about being alone is that you can be completely yourself, and if you can find somebody with whom you can be that, that's
simple or stylish?
Simple.
And why?
I prefer simplicity in everything, not just fashion.
Simplicity, it's also fashion in itself,
Yeah,
right?
you can
It's
say
a
that.
way of life.
Yeah, style. I don't really know how to think about that term. I don't really know what it means. But like, I wouldn't spend a lot of time on that. I need the simplicity.
Simplicity works. Okay.
Simplicity over complication.
Yeah, style is complicated.
Yeah.
Mind or heart?
Heart.
And you also know that, right? I'm just asking you that people think that they can that only the part of the organ in our body is mind, where we can only think from, but actually heart also thinks.
Yeah, and
you know that, right?
Yeah, and it also predicts things. It gives you like a sense of
intuition. It has more, because mind is more logical and heart is more it's like emotional. And also
there was an amazing it was an insane experiment. They did an experiment where people were sitting in a lab wearing a heart monitor, and they were shown either very distressing pictures, let's say car crash or an injured child or angry dog and so on, and peaceful pictures like flowers and puppies and maybe pictures of their loved ones. And they measured their heart variability, and you know that the stress heart rate signal is frequent and relaxation is slow. So the heart rate would change before they saw the picture. So they'll be sitting there, blank screen, heart rate goes up, and then they see the dog.
Oof. Prediction.
They don't know the causation mechanism of this yet, but it's been many times replicated.
Wow.
Yeah, there's more of this.
So this is proven that heart thinks.
It predicts, or like it senses some. I wouldn't call it think, because it's just like with emotion. You can't think your way to loving somebody.
You can't think it over. No,
you see
it is there or it is not there.
Yeah,
Either you get connected or you don't get connected.
Yes.
Okay. Progress or perfection?
Progress always. There's no such
Wow.
thing as perfection.
Yes. And okay, religious or non-religious?
Non-religious.
And why?
I don't need any structure or organization to feel the divine.
You just feel it.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there is some divine force?
Yeah, I don't know if I call it divine because divinity is associated with God, and God has not. It's not really something that I feel. I feel the presence of something greater. You can call it
Okay.
energy, universe,
Or whatever you name it.
whatever, or consciousness. I also think of it as consciousness. So, and I think that everything is expression of that consciousness that is experiencing itself. But
Okay.
it's not a religious. It's something that people nowadays associated with the term spirituality, which I also don't like. But it's far from religion, I think.
So are you agnostic?
Uh,
Atheist?
Agnostic means that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's all from my side, Kristina. It was an amazing time.
Thank you, Zach.
You know, truly speaking, one of my best confabs ever. I mean, really honored. Thank you. I have no words to thank you. If you have to ask or say anything, you're there.
I would like to say that the questions were really great. It
Really?
it like pulled stuff out of me that it's just a pleasure just to think about the stuff that you ask about.
Oh my God,
that's-
I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so honored. Guys, this was Kristina. I hope you liked our confab. I know it was a bit long. I will try to put the bits and pieces, you know, the most exciting ones in the start, so you can just, you know, try to see. Or we are trying to get all these celebrities in disguise like Kristina and other people who are basically, you know, trying to get the best, trying to do the best for the humanity, society, and themselves. And if they're alone, they are not alone because they try to get their way out. They try to find, and then they're positive and optimistic, and they're struggling and trying every single day. I hope this message finds you well, and I hope you share the happiness. Peace. Bye bye.